Hello there. We are up to card number 4 from our Furry Merry Christmas little card set. Now this is just a special I'm offering in October. If you purchase this lovely little stamp set with or without thin cuts, you can add an extra $10 and get the 4 separate card bits and pieces as a kit all ready for you to create 4 pretty fun little cute cards. So this is number 4, and it's the one that has actually been designed by a consultant in Australia called Laura Beecham. And it's just a little pull tab card. It's not one that I've ever tried before, but I absolutely love putting it together. So I figured that this would be a fun one for you guys to all try too. Now the mechanism that we're going to use that was pre-cut for you has been cut using my Cricut, my electronic Cricut machine. And Laura shared the cut file with me. So that is, if you get your little kit out, you'll see that we've got this base and this little mechanism, and we've got another little white piece here too, which we're going to use, along with some of the bits and pieces that we're going to use just in the background as little gifts. I've already stuck my pattern paper onto my cardstock here, you'll see, and I put the little bow on. So that is one step I've already done in advance. Now, in terms of preparation from the kit, you just need to stamp yourself one of the little dogs, or whatever you choose to be the thing that's going to peep up at us, and stamp yourself a little bow if you want to include a little something on top of this gift. Now, I did have this little silver bow lying around, which is what I attached in this first one. I didn't have any more of those, so I've created one from the stamp set as well and just coloured it in. So I'm not showing the colouring in today. Excuse me, as you have seen with the last 3 cards, different ways that I have coloured in, but you'll see and you'll notice that I haven't actually coloured in a little part of this, and I'll explain why in a little while. So let's get into the creating of this gorgeous card. Oops, the first thing we're going to do is prepare that background sheet, because once we start putting the mechanism together, it's going to be a lot harder to decorate this white background piece. So I'm just going to grab this. The bit that goes up the top is this half circle, and the strip is going to go down the bottom. Now, as you will see on my card, I've just done a little doodling around the outside edge. It's always a fun way of just giving a little bit of a frame to your creation. So I just hand draw this, and as you can see, I can be a little wobbly, but it's kind of the look, the effect, so it doesn't bother me quite how it comes out. So just get yourself a little black journaling pen to do this, or you could explore with some of our variety of journaling pen colours we've now got in the Le Pen range. We've got a whole heap of colours that will just about match any project you're working on. So that's my first piece to prepare for it. Now the next piece is to do a little stamp. Now I chose to use the Feliz Navidad, which is kind of like that song, isn't it? That Christmas song. But we're doing the play on the pet titles, having the word fleas in there. So this is going to go in the center up the top here, and essentially when this lifts up, we kind of want that title to be covered just for neatness purposes. It actually wouldn't matter if little bits were showing from the side, but you know, if you're trying to be particular, that is one nice little thing. Now this term does work quite well. The Happy Holidays is a little bit wider, so it will sort of peek out on both sides. So I'm just going to use my black ink, and in the center here, stamp the Feliz Navidad title. Now also, we're going to stamp a few little decorations around. So once again, I'm just actually going to get my little dog, have him sitting up there so I get the idea of what he's going to look like, and then I'm going to stamp around that little white space and just put in about 4 of these Christmas decorations. So those just need to be coloured in now for a little bit of interest. Once again, the colours I've chosen are the ones I've been using all the way through, but I will tell you them so that you've got a good idea. So we've got the brown grey blend for our silver look. We've got the gold brown blend for what I use for the dog. The light green blend is the little festive green that's showing up, and the dark red blend is the other festive colour showing up. So I'm just going to use the green and the grey to do these little decorations. And as you know, with our alcohol markers, it sometimes is a good idea to let the ink you've used do the stamping set, or let it rest for a little bit before you start colouring in. However, for purposes of the video, I'm just going to go straight on ahead and hope I don't make it at all blurry. there is just the possibility that I might make the lines bleed a little bit. I'm not too bothered with this one because it is such a small image and I'm only doing a really quick colour. Not really doing any blending or anything too clever. So you could choose other colours. You could make them really colourful if you wish. I'm just going sort of for the silver and green look on this one here. This card is a lot easier than you imagine it's going to be to put together. I found it really fun seeing Laura show us this for the first time. I was anticipating quite a lot more steps, but as it turned out, it wasn't too bad at all. And as she pointed out, with this particular design, having the little gifts at the front, you could swap them out for birthday paper and it would be a really cool birthday card. So this little formula for a card is ideal to stretch between any sort of season, birthday or Christmas. Now if you wanted to take a little a little outline or template of what I've pre-cut from the cricket, you could easily do that before we put them all together, and that way you've got your own little template for creating more of these pull-up cards. Right, we're almost done with all our colouring. So now I'm just going to do our little mechanism that goes in the background. So we're going to grab this piece that looks a bit like a T. Now yours is cut a bit nicer than mine. I gave myself the one that's a little bit tatty and didn't cut particularly well from the cricket. And I'm just going to fold this over so that the line is flush with that central line, the central T part. And then I'm going to fold it back on itself, which is just a bit like a Z fold. And this is just because it's going to hook around our strip and hold in place. So it doesn't matter exactly the measurements of where you fold, but it's keep it nice and neat in line with your big long strip, and then do a Z fold by folding it backwards again. As you can see, my piece is a little bit wonky because I did get the dud. Right, so I'm going to go from the back and poke this through the front and then fold these little pieces back. So that's what's keeping that tab in line. It's got its little guide and it's got these little tabs folded back to make sure it stays within that little space. This all comes together best once you've got everything attached. At the moment it's obviously very wobbly and it's all looking a little bit dubious as to how it's going to work. Now the next thing I'm going to do is bring it right up to the top, like I have at this point here, and I'm going to be popping my little dog, because I'm using that image, stuck just onto these little pieces here. If you've got a very small image and it sits above here, you don't obviously want any adhesive showing, so just be mindful of that as you stick your image down. If you're doing a dog or the little kitty that's a bigger size, you won't have that problem. Now the other thing we have to be mindful of is that our gift is only so wide. So that's why you'll see I haven't actually coloured in these little pieces because I want to keep my little image less than 2 inches wide. So I'm just, because these bits aren't going to be showing, so I'm just going to literally cut those little pieces off so that we don't have anything standing out too far. In fact, we probably don't even need the real bottom part of our stamped image, but let's just leave him there so he looks whole. So I'm just going to grab my adhesive and put a little bit of tape onto these 2 pieces. Now see how I've got that little piece here? I just need to get my rub and remover razor, which is my trusty little tool here, just to pull off that adhesive. You've got to make sure there is no adhesive anywhere else or anywhere exposed so it doesn't get stuck. We'll just make sure this is straight. We'll pop this up where we want it to rest and press down. So that's our little mechanism. It's going to be a little hard to do it at the moment without all the rest involved, but you can sort of see how that's going to work. Kind of cute, isn't it? So on the back, to make sure this doesn't wobble around, we've got this other little white piece. So literally all you're going to do is make a little flap, just a little, like a third of the way in. That's going to tuck under here, and then we're just going to close off the flap from the other side. Now don't make this too snug, but it just needs to be there enclosed enough so that the piece can go up and down inside. So I've literally just folded one side over and the other side over. Now we're going to stick this little piece down. So I'll just put some tape on that. Behind here, just that little piece at this point in time. I want it to be straight. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on this one as well. Make sure there's no adhesive on that background piece. And seal them up. So now we've got our little guide keeping the stick in line. So it goes quite nicely. The last thing we need to do is put a little piece up the top to tell the user what they need to do with the stick. And you probably have got two because they both cut out. I'm not sure. I believe you probably got two. I'm just going to use the cardstock one. Put a little piece of adhesive inside. And that's just going to wrap itself around the top of the stick. Try and make it straight. All fingers and thumbs today. Let's just pull that off and put it in the middle. That might help. And just to put that little arrow on, I have got one of our new white gel pens. They come in different thicknesses. I'm not sure if I've got the thickest one here, so no, I haven't. So I'm just going to make it wider and colour it in. I'm just going to put a little arrow on the middle. Yes, I think I might actually go race over and get my thicker one because this is really for my finest work. So it's not showing up so well. 2 seconds. Okay, this one's number 10. And that shows up much better. Here we go. So that's the background completed, which is nice and easy. And actually, just to finish off before I go any further, is to put my little lines going up. I forgot to do that earlier. You may have noticed. I'm sure you've already all done your own as we go. Okay, so that's looking rather cute. Now to finish it off on top, we're going to put our little gifts. So we've got our main gift first off, which is going to sit here. Now the only thing you need to do here is put a bit of foam tape on the 2 sides. Now we just want to make sure that that foam tape is really slim. We don't need it to go too far in, especially as we've got a reasonably large image. So I'm actually going to take my foam tape. Oh, my scissors have now got a sticky bit on them. Just get that bit off. I'm going to slice it in to make it skinnier. If you've got the skinny foam tape, just grab it and just check that you're still keeping a large enough space. I'm just being a little bit cautious by making this skinnier still. Our foam tape is extremely sticky, sticks to everything, so we've got to be a bit careful how we handle it. Now I'm actually using the thin version of our foam tape as well. I don't need it to be raised really high, thin is fine. Just having a little bit of an issue with our sticky foam. And I'm going to pop that onto the side, right to the edge. So that way I know it's not going to get in the way of our cute little puppy. Okay, just check that it's still moving. Yep, we're still moving. Excellent. Now we've just got a cute little present gift to put on the side, which is just going to be overlapped. Because I raised that, I'm just going to put a little bit of raised foam tape on the end there, which I'll just use some of the dregs from what I had been doing. And a bit of adhesive on the rest. Pop this to one side. And then, because I don't have a silver bow this time, I have cut out just the cute little bow from our set, coloured it in with the grey marker, and that can sit on top. And once again, we could use a tiny little bit of foam tape. Some more dregs here, I might as well use them up. Spread them over our cute little bow. Alright, so that's the background done. Nice, easy, isn't it? Last thing we're going to have to do is place this onto our little backing piece, and we're going to put a bit of raised foam around here as well as along the edge. You could continue with the thin version, but if you want to be very sure that you're nice and clear of everything, you can go straight to using a deeper or thicker foam tape. I do have some handy, which I will do. So if you're trying to be a little bit cautious, which I tend to with things like this, I would put a longer strip, one full strip on both sides, which I know uses a bit of foam tape, but it ensures that you're keeping a nice channel in place for the moving mechanism. And then I'm just going to cut some pieces for the corners of my card. It's always useful having a bit of foam tape in your kit, because for mechanisms like this, it's very important, but it's also just gives those different levels of dimension on your finished project, which adds a bit of interest, adds a bit of a shadow, just makes the whole card feel a lot more robust and probably a little bit more professional looking, I guess. So we're going to flip this one over and place that in the center of this backing piece, which is candy apple. Check our mechanism's still working. Yay, it's still working. And that whole piece is going to be attached to the front of the card nice and easily. So as you can see, it wasn't such a tricky card to make after all. It's a very cute design, and a pull tab card for a birthday or for Christmas is pretty cool. Just to finish, I'm going to add a little bit of my silver stickles just to the center line of each of these. Just get it down there. I haven't used this for a little while. Here it comes. So you can put a little bit of silver stickles in if you want to add a bit of a bling, and I'm going to do that throughout, also on my cute little bow. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you had a lot of fun creating your own little version of this card. Be neat to see some of your cards posted on our Facebook group, just to see how you've been getting on. Talk to you soon.